Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Grace Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last episode, we've been accused of murder. Turns out our friend Cosmo was dead, and now we have to investigate the truth of his murder. And we have a reason to. Hopefully, we can see if we can get to the other cabin. Let's move to the other cabin. Let's go to first class passageway. 9th of January, 7:48 AM, SS Beria, first class cabin and passageway. Phew. Finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Cosmo-sama was being sent on his study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in the first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage. Really? That must be awful. Oh, look over there. There's a crewman keeping watch. He looks enormous. What the? He's huge! Even if he is sitting down. The door next to him leads to the second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose. Like people in handcuffs? Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, I was inside Cosmo's trunk when first I came aboard. And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that pitying look. Okay. Guess we explore. It's a huge book on the top table there. There's a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? The writing's so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. And nothing. No reaction at all. I thought he might be appreciate the compliment. I'm not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruhodo-san, even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Assumably, that means there was nothing to report. Ah! I get it! Jared! Guess what happened? Jared? Nothing to report. I bet they got that from that meme. Then again, this game was made like 6 years ago. This looks like a plant, or more. This looks like a plant of the SS Beria. It shows each deck look. The Beria is a large-scale steamship with a triple skin hull. What a marvel of engineering. Well, it's been playing by my mind for a while now, but actually, how is it that a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean? Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhodo-san. It is? Well, consider the Japanese archipelago, the islands of Japan. Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth, many, many times larger than this ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. Well, I suppose so. That's the way to the second-class area of the ship. Is something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it, just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would shoot you dead. Well, that is true. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. No, I started my talk up running away. And there was no way I could run away while Cosmo's death remains a mystery anyway. Excuse me. Excuse me, but can I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer. That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask you something of you? You little third-class lady's maid. Oh. You seem to have caught this sailor on a bad day, Susato-san. I am not sailor. My mother gave me that name. I am Senior Crewman, Biff Stroganoff. Phew. The best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. First class Mr. Stroganoff, about this first class cabin area. Here we are to find a sea of various steamship for very important persons. What sort of important persons? Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret, many important persons. That is why I'm guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But I somehow let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in the ocean, but Stroganoff is not animal. Thank you? If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Sogi's currently occupied? Susato-san, do you understand that? Sounded like a duh. Yes, I'm pretty sure we got that part. It's probably Russian for yes or no. Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there's somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Passenger in the next door cabin. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Sogi's? His name is Mr. Grimesby Roylott. He is a very important Western gentleman. A Western gentleman. Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with murder of student boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is an authentic Western gentleman. Such a man will have no interest in a lowly student from insignificant Far East Islands. That was harsh. Can you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Cosmo's cabin the entire time, I never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there. Well, presumably, this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins. He must be rather important, isn't that right? That is not your business. Alright, last night. I can't scroll down with the arrow keys. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganoff? Duh, all time. So criminals like you cannot come in, or get out. I wonder, can you tell us anything about last night at all? It is sad about student boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. Do you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Here. Susato-san, do you understand that? It was clearly a no. Yes, I saw nothing unusual, nothing at all. And you didn't hear any strange noises or sense anything was wrong in some way. I said no. Sorry? I'm not so sure, but I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. This is enough. I cannot say more now. Well, that's all his info we can get, I guess. Oh, it's time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin. Yes, alright. Bulkhead to second-class area, staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain, or as English say, when the pigs fly. Yes, I understand. Well, looks like the crewmen really think I did it. Good now, we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Definitely. Alright. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it? That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says, press only in times of emergency. Looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship. It brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh, this is a what are you doing, Naruto? You mustn't touch that. I must. I can't not touch it. I want to see what it does. But this is an emergency situation. Look at these handcuffs. Oh no, that's what you meant. Oh, you know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, even more worse situation. Huh. I wish everything would just stop. This ship included. If you have to do something so foolish, at least make it look like something that doesn't affect anyone else. What's this? Ah, that's a trap for catching mice. Yes, we have plenty of those back home in Japan. Although they seem to be a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think that's what it's called, cheese. It's made from the milk of cows. Oh, cheese. I wonder what that tastes like. You can't eat it, Naruhodo-san. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really, but... I suppose you're right. Surely I wouldn't think of eating it. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? Oh, I had to eat for the past couple weeks as Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. Well, let's head in. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin, it's Kazuma-sama's. Sorry. Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. These cabins are the finest on the ship. My own cabin is in steerage by 539, by the way. 500 and... How many cabins are there? This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. One the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Whoever in this cabin can maybe help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one there to help with our inquiry. How annoying. Ah! What was that? It came from inside the cabin. Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman. Stand aside. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholmes, I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. But please, wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how do I can I dispatch this muscular urge? What prey can I kick? I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. Well, I guess we're in the cabin. Who are you? A Western gentleman. This man looks Russian to me. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. True, but this old man does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you, now! Please excuse the intrusion, but Mr. Grimsy Roylet, I believe. Yes, that's me, and you are? I'm the one and only Herlock Sholmes. You actually heard of me, no doubt? No. I am the great detective among detectives, the one who does the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. The man uses that magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from these walls. But there wouldn't be a lady concealed within the wardrobe this time. So might be bold to ask you to open that small traveling case. What? Don't be stupid. How could anyone fit in that small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionably these days, is it not? Traveling inside's one trunk. Don't look at me. Oh, it's moving. Oh my, did you see that, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, the case just shook. Leave now, otherwise I'll call the steward. So this is Cosmo's neighbor, Mr. Grimesby Roylott. There's no doubt about it, this strange Russian man is hiding something. Couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues about before that burly sailor returned. Alright. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you sleeping in the cabinet for? Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? Amy only addressed me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed. I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting for the inevitable time, and you would need to call my great powers of detection into service. Oh. And it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually, you're spot on for once. Observe closely. Our Russian host is the cabinet, Mr. Roylott, clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding in secret? Why? The truth, of course. Although it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russian. Right. Can you imagine how the Russians will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh yes, please. Well then, what are you about to see may as well astound you. I am about to apply the greatest detective's great deduction to the case. Okay. Could this man be a hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time, it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you, or anyone. That's right, and Mr. Sholmes. I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but what I once read is capable. It's a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Shh. I must have complete silence. What are you doing? What are you peering my face like that? Well, just as I thought. Yes, I have quite made up my mind now. There can be no explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of the villain. What? Using those shears, you're about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? Huh? And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn. You are, at this very moment, no less in the middle of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers the nervous tension of you realize as you've been discovered. Well, his face is blue. does it not? Ugh. Oh, Naruto-san, I never imagined you would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my own eyes. That was a great deduction? Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. What ineffable twaddle. Oh yes, I read about it countless times at the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, and I've experienced the astounding impact of his great deduction firsthand. It's like a dream come true. I can hardly believe it, but all the color has drained from Mr. Roylot's face. Looks like somehow both Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How could you? How could I possibly know such things? You wish to say? Very well then. I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it is I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So I cordially invite you to upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board that train of reason. Ain't plainy. Let us work through my deductions together. The general deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1, conclusion. Old man's identity. So, the dubious Russian, Mr. Roylot, obviously. What catches the eye in the first place? Where did the lights come from? Is the enormous pair of shears in your hand? And we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer is, of course, staring us in the face. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away that copious beard you sport. Now, moving on. The question then begs is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Roylot? Once again, our answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular, the fascinating front page article. Which would appear, and also Mr. Roylot. Oh, I get it. He was trying to make sure his identity is not known. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Yep, that one. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary Violent Bolshevik Flees Russians via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian Revolution himself, Violent Bolshevik. Not that I've heard you myself, you understand. A revolutionary on the run. That's the conclusion? Topic number 2, wrongdoing. Now, as for my second conclusion. You are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing the most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylot. Taken unawares, people have prosperity to let their eyes astray, you see. Oh, and I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies in the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes, yes, that traveling case. It is that time, I think, that the cases can be opened and the contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation. A young lady, perhaps? One slight enough to fit therein? Don't be absurd. And what, pray, would the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'etat betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can be equally found in the pages of this newspaper. For there is another, most stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page. Renowned prima ballerina Novorich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. A headline such can lead us to but one conclusion. Your crime is that of an abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. Conclusion. Kidnapping of a young ballerina. Thus includes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma, Elemensky. Elemensky? Damn, that was an interesting deduction. Susato-san, that wasn't one of the great deductions I've been that was it so much about, was it? Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes, can you come over here for a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions. Would you mind? Not at all. Go on. Well, to start with, there's a newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. I mean, yeah, true. Yes, I recorded discussion earlier, and at the time I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary, well able to revolutionize his own appearance. In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Rolla does look more than like this man than you do. That's not the point. And another thing about him abducting the ballerina, indeed a truly startling revelation. First glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman. Not at first glance, it is too small. Clearly, be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child in that case, even if you pushed really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out from the case. Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a bizarre bunch, it would be surely simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case. Oh dear, you might be thinking one contortionist in the circus, Mr. Sholmes. This whole thing is turning into a circus. So Naruto-san, something just occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of the matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention, his logic just seemed a little off. Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Miss Susato. It's just one or two keywords in his deductions that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Switch some keywords in his deductions? Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deduction. Precisely, the thought was going through my own mind. You clearly... Okay, never mind. This man is a lot of work. At times I wonder how anyone puts up with me. Oh, it's not that funny. Ah, you, my good fellow. Sorry? Take a moment to look at your wrists. My wrists? Huh? Handcuffs? Where are your handcuffs? Huh? How did... It felt maybe hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. I don't believe it. Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel. And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm not worried, in fact, I'd rather stay like this. So let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present. His logic and reasoning is spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Topic 1, a man's identity, a revolution on the run concludes. So the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roy, obviously. What catches the eye in the first place? This enormous pair of shears in your hand. Then we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face, blah blah blah. On the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. Alright. I'm not so sure. Do you really use shears like that to cut off a beard? I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit right with me, though. Doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylott either. Which means I suppose that the deduction is wrong. Try to switch a keyword here, Naruhodo-san, and see if that help matters. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. Wonder if it's really his beard that he intended to use those shears on. Exactly. Do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction better. Then what? And I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Naruhodo-san. Why am I the only one to do something about this? Anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in that last sentence. What exactly Mr. Roylott was going to use those enormous shears for? It really is a very full beard, isn't it? Yes, although according to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott was about to cut it off. I still think he looks nothing like the man pictured in the newspaper article, though. Apparently merciless, revolutionary, violent Bolshevik. So if he wasn't going to cut off his beard, presumably he was going to cut out something else. Yes, we need to look at this from a fresh perspective and try to work out what. Coat buttons. Are you looking at the buttons of this coat? Could it be that Mr. Roylott was planning to cut these off? Oh, why? Well, when you're wearing thick gloves, it can be very hard to undo buttons. Then you couldn't just take off your gloves first? Aha, so he was going to use the scissors to cut his gloves off then. I want you to take a deep breath and look at this from a fresh perspective, Naruhodo-san. Oops, I think she's angry. Oops. Thick hat. It's a very thick hat, isn't it? Ah, that's the secret you see, Naruhodo-san. Don't you know? Secret? What? Well, before we left Japan, I took some time to study some various foreign countries. Russia is a land of unimaginable cold, and a thick hat is the secret to keeping warm. Without one, I read that your brain would freeze. That was just one of the many fascinating snippets of information in Oh Mother, Not Russia. I think maybe you picked the wrong book there. Huh? What the fuck? Is that hair? Golden locks? Oh, I think I know where this is going. What's this? It's not... It looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks. No, the color is not the point. The point is, what's it doing on the back of Mr. Roylott's head? How's it growing out from underneath his thick black hair? Well, yes, that's true, so it's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising. Something's definitely not right here. Wonder if there's anything else. Alright, let's present. Oh, we have to present. Alright, let's present. Golden locks. Oh, it's our turn. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the golden locks you sport. Indeed, you have identified the precise details that tending to expose. Okay, let's just go with this. Such lush golden hair does not befit an old man, maybe. I really know where this is going. I don't think... You are not a man at all. You're a woman, judging from the length of sheen of your hair. One's still very much in her youth. Oh no. Only I had managed to cut off my hair, and no one would have suspected. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of your magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals the true identity is on the article about the revolutionary. Yep, I think we have to tell him. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea the old man was really a young woman in disguise, did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise, Naruto-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry. You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing your facts with Mr. Sholmes. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business. Yes, I understand. Say no more. Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now. No, that's true, given that Mr. Royal is actually a woman. Exactly, or he, or rather she, can't possibly be this revolutionary. Suppose the deduction as a whole has taken a different direction now. Yes. Switch the evidence for something else, something that fits the facts that we understand now then. Some reason, this woman need to try to hide her true identity. Feels as though I've read or heard about a young woman situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best. It's the ballerina one, right? Yeah, it's this one. I think it has to do with that one. Article about the ballerina. Correction. The evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina. That's right, you really hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novorich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It would appear that we are finally addressing you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is that the Novorich Ballet's prima ballerina, Miss Nikolina Pavlova. Ah! Well, I think it's safe to assume, jeez, that it is her. I guess she can take off that disguise, I think? Well, hello there. Wait, how did she hide an earring? When I was exploring, I didn't see any ear pierce. You're right. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. Conclusion: change a ballerina on the run. Solved. Topic 2: wrongdoing. Kidnap a young ballerina. Now, as for my second conclusion. You are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime is over there. Ah yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have propensity to let their eyes astray, you see. And I assure you that eyes speak no much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, a traveling case. This woman is the ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. So clearly, she can't be inside that traveling case as well. No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all. In which case, what is the crime the young woman's apparently committing? Ha, I could see I'm gonna have to step and fix the great detective's mistake again. You seem to look pleased, Naruto-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Stop it! Anyway, there's something else that shows what this woman is up to. Tiara? Wow, look at this dazzling tiara. Never seen anything like it. Are those real diamonds, you think? Oh, Naruto-san, try it on. What? Me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras? Wouldn't you like to try it on? Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful. Why does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently. Let me s- It's a very small case, isn't it? You can see instantly that no person could possibly fit inside there. So does that tell us that Miss Pavlova's telling glance in this direction is focused on something else? That's true though, doesn't make sense. What do you mean? Well, if there's nothing incriminating inside this case, why did she refuse to let us look inside? Yes, I wonder why. Perhaps she has a perfectly harmless reason though. Waste paper basket. The waste paper basket? Let's have a little look inside. Naruto-san, it's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know. Those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. However, these are special circumstances, I think. Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. It's just a waste bag. Alright, maybe we have to present the tiara. Tiara. The proof of your crime is surely this tiara. Huh. I believe this tiara isn't worn on stage by dancers in the Novolich Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara picture here in the newspaper article. And if that reporting is to be believed, an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you have committed is theft. Oh no. And yes, you left your ballet troupe unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you. Yeah. I have no one. No family, no friends. I'm all alone. I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an earl? A Prussia? It belongs to me. This girl is only 15 years old, and she's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. Alright, I will tell you everything. There's no point to hiding it now. Come now, come. Let's not be hasty. What? There remains one unsolved mystery about you. Mystery? What do you mean? That you have absolutely refused to open this traveling case of yours in your presence. It is reasonably to conclude, therefore, there exists some reason why you wish to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there is no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very idea the contents of that case. Even I have ever laid eyes on them. Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? You careless Coupe de l'eau betrays you. And once again, we only need to follow your furtive glances to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your case is written in the books on the shelf. He's completely changed tack with his deduction now. I think Mr. Shum is adapting his logic to changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all this? It's just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case has been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her. Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself. There has to be another reason why she won't open her case. It must be somewhere in the same area if that's where her gaze is involuntarily drawn. I agree, but that's the only answer. Wherever she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase. Small picture. This is a charming little picture, isn't it? What is it? Someone climbing up a steep mountainside? Or descending, what it seems to me. When you've been on the flat sea for a while, maybe you start seeing hills and mountains and everything. So these are the same books that we have in our cabin. Suppose the steward likes to make sure passengers have plenty to read for the long voyage. And you have noticed all the books have fallen over, just like in Cosmo's cabin. It's almost like someone's taking a sweep at them. Maybe Miss Pavlova while she was practicing her ballet? Anyway, the point is, we don't have time to look through all these books at the moment. Couldn't even if we wanted to, they're all in Russian. Well, that's a relief. Let's try our luck elsewhere. The rules of passage. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Beria. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strict. Oh, she probably has a pet. It's exactly the same notice in our cabin, too. Wonder what happens if we break the rules. Oh dear, I'm sure the punishment will be severe in Naruto-san. Probably left adrift in the freezing cold ocean. Or shut inside a tiny wardrobe for days on end. So I've actually been serving time for weeks now, have I? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm presenting this. The rules of passage. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. And inside that case of yours, something forbidden from that carriage on this vessel. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. Well, it is a pet. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or dangerous item would move of its own accord. Which leaves one possibility, Miss Pavlova. Inside your traveling case. Is the last item listed in Forbidden Vessel's Rules of Passage, a pet. Well, I think we got her. Conclusion. Possession of a prohibited animal. Deduction complete. Elementary. What? So clearly you aren't who you say you were. No, I am not Grimsby Roylott. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet's company performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel. Which could have been easy. The Beria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. She really stuck on board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman. You intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is leave well alone. So if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out that scream you heard from outside the cabin? That verbal tinkling of a bell, why not other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disguise myself so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transfer yourself into a questionable old man. I see. I put on the fur hat and fake beard. Then, just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper, right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible, so I picked up the scissors in my hand and... At the precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? A pet? Susada, I think we already asked that it's a pet. You're right. It was my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. When the captain finds out, you see any of the crew. Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us as much detail as you can muster about the events of last night. Yes, alright. I will tell you. Alright. Well, Mr. Naruhodo? Wasn't it something, Mr. Shulman's great deduction? It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pablo has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. Oh, and one more thing. Oh, yes, what? Observe your wrist. For fuck's sakes. Oh, my handcuffs. Oh, your hands are cuffed again. What? But how? True to my word, I have restored your shackles. When? And why? There's still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhodo. So sorry to say. Can't be helped at the moment. Huh. Can it? Really? Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. Can't go on knowing. To find out what the speckled band that Cosmo-san wrote in her diary really was. Alright. Let's examine the room. Let me see. Don't touch! Huh? I will tell you what I know last night, but please, you must not touch my things. How do you say, forbid it. Oh, sorry? As well you should be, young man. What vulgar manners you have. Poking around a young lady's private belongings. Neither shall I allow it. Grr, hypocrite. Dang it. Wait, seriously? I can't touch any- I can't, okay? I guess I can't. Do you know something that was killed in our cabin next door to this one last night? And one of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh. That's why we were trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example. Perhaps people talking. Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps its steam engine exploded. Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened. Miss Pavlova, is there something you can tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, I see. Running away. You run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novel Rich Ballet? Yes. Traveled in Great Britain. From there, I want to go to America. Oh, America! I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I want to start a new life. You wish to forget a challenging proposition. When you have that striking tiara as a reminder. But the tiara is mine. I need it to live. I have no money of my own. No rich ballet gives us only a little food and water, and you must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I had stayed, it would have killed me. So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes, and the crew of the ship, they all have been kind to me. They made me come on aboard, but they said I could hide in this cabin. Is that indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova? It creates a most intriguing conundrum. Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo? Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation to what conundrum. I'm not sure, but... Conundrum. Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Beria stopped by no port last night. That's it, of course. So how is it, pray, that you come to be aboard? Huh? How did she arrive? If there was no point, how did she arrive? Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. They're probably hiding something. It was just after we asked him about the occupant of this cabin and came aboard. Yeah, he kept complete silence. Like he paused for a bit. Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace to beauty to the stage. Sorry, what was that? It's how the Russian newspapers describe one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens because I am an angel. Are we really? We're not letting that logic slide. Come on. Just because you're an angel. Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid. Mr. Sholmes said, I never can resist a touch of the grammatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace to beauty to the detection. Words once said about myself. Quote from the wonderfully extravagant advertisement, The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, in fact. Yes, Mr. Shoei. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova was going to tell us what really happened. So the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right? I don't think animals are allowed on board, according to the rules of passage. But, oh please, don't tell anyone of the crew. He found out my precious. Then the burly Russians will bestir themselves in unison to throw you in your case overboard, no doubt. Yeah. So reassuring Mr. Sholmes. What sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy, isn't it? Nopers? Maybe adorable little rabbit. Huh, you credit Russia as a land of small rabbits, do you? Oh, don't they have small rabbits there then? May as well ask. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure it's a cat. Huh. Or I could be wrong. You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken. His deductions are very off base, but fuck it. Really? Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, and daily fresh eggs. And when adversity strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance. So you eat your friends. I'll remember that. No, nopers. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret not to be revealed. Ah, ha, 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 ha. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. I guess we have to present. Speckled band. Maybe I should tell her about the speckled band. This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yes, and he wrote in his last night before he died something a little unusual. It reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. And then a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m. what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Speckled band? I don't understand. Strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentions joins to this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh. Miss Pavlova? Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you, or the whistling sound perhaps? No, I don't know anything. Oh? Uh-oh. Excuse me, Mr. Roylott. Yes? What? Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to the captain's quarters at once, please. Alright, I will come now. What? You must leave now. Oh no, it's fine, don't mind us. Yes, please don't worry yourself, Mr. Rolla. Get out! The passenger said out. Do you want me to throw you out? It looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. What a pity. Well, and so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. As that is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. Alright, I think that'll be it for today's episode. So next time on Grace Attorney's Chronicles, we're going to be continuing this episode. Hopefully we can get more onto this investigation. I guess I'll see you guys all next time.